Hi, this is Sophie. Today I want to talk about forbearance. So you probably heard this word a lot very recently. The government provide the program to help people deal with the hardship due to the coronavirus. One of the relief that the government provide to the people who have a house and a mortgage is forbearance. So if you had a hardship to pay the mortgage due to the coronavirus, you can ask your lender to allow you to delay the payment of the mortgage for up to 6 months. And after 6 months, if you still have difficult, you can ask the extension to extend the delay of the payment of mortgage for another 6 months. So you get probably a total of 12 months delay of the payment of the mortgage. Now, one thing I want to really emphasize here is forbearance is not forgiveness. So it's simply just a delay of your payment for the mortgage. It's not a forgiveness, which means you still need to pay. Now, one of the very important aspects you want to discuss with your lender is how do you repay those mortgage. So once you get back to work, your economic situation get better, it's the time for you to make up for those payments. That's the time you need to know what's the agreement between you and your lender to pay those mortgages. You want to be very careful, try to avoid a balloon payment. So when you're reading the agreement with the lender, be very careful. Don't let the lender make this part of the payment as a balloon payment for you by the time you need to pay, because it's going to become a big lump sum money that's pretty hefty for you to pay all at once. So bear in mind when you negotiate with the lender, ask for still the installment payment. So it can be something add on top of your current payment period. For example, if you have a 30-year fixed rate, then you can, instead of 30 years, it's going to pay off. If you delay the payment for 4 months, then you can simply add another 4 months to the 30-year payment period. So in this case, you wouldn't have the situation that you suddenly need to come up with large sum of money to make up for the payment as a balloon payment. The next thing I want to also let you guys know is if you do not have any hardship or you can manage your mortgage payment, it's probably better not to ask for it. We see a few impact on the borrower side, of the forbearance program. One of the examples are if you are applying for refinance, you're in the middle of the refinance, and then you somehow have another house mortgage payment that you applied for the forbearance, and lender for your refinance aware of that, then your refinance will not go through. They will stop right away. And also, when you apply for the refinance, the lender will have you fill in a form, and a form it's going to ask you if you applied for any forbearance program. So bear that in mind. If your financial situation allow you to make the payment, just continue making the payment without asking for forbearance. Another possible impact could be down the road, in the future, if you want to buy another house, if you have a house that you asked for forbearance, and down the road, you want to buy another house when things get better, and if the lender asks you for the past payment history of the mortgage, and if they see that you had a forbearance record, it could have impact on your capability to acquire new loan during a certain period of time. So these are another thing you need to keep in mind. So these are the few things I want to remind you and share with you regarding this forbearance program. So on top of that, another similar thing, I want to remind people who are renting houses, if you can pay your rent and just make the payment on time, because if one of the relief that related to payment of rent is if you have difficulty to pay the rent, you can show the documents to the landlord and showing them that you are impacted by the virus, that by the coronavirus situation that you could not make the payment of the rent. In this case, you could ask for the delay of the rent payment. Now, again, bear in mind, the delay of the payment is not the waive of the payment. You still need to pay them at a certain point of the time when your financial situation gets better. And if you do not document and do not provide those documents to the landlord, and they don't know the reason, and just simply because you stop the payment, the landlord could have the rights to get into the eviction process with you. Now, once that happens, if you don't have document to prove that you are actually impacted by the virus hardship, then you could face a very unpleasant situation, and it will end up get a negative impact on you. So these are the few things that whether you are owning a house or whether you're renting a house, you want to keep in mind during this period of time. And meanwhile, if you do have the hardship, remember these are the few things that you can use to alleviate your immediate hardship for some period of time until things are getting better. That's all for today, and I hope you all stay safe and sound, and I'll see you next time.